Hello there. It is yet another blistering 92-degree day here in New York City, and mind you, that's with humidity, so it feels closer to 100. It has actually been insane, and honestly has made me feel a little less inclined to film myself bopping around city, because I look like this most of the time. Okay, yeah, that's me after a workout, but honestly, not that far off in this weather. Alas, we're doing the damn thing, and you're coming with me.
No. Taylor, stay inside where it's cool.
Nope.
Take a load off. Make a nice beverage.
You quit that. We are doing it. We're gonna do a lot of exploring. I'm gonna show you some of my favorite local spots and some other spots that you'll probably recognize, so buckle up.
Taylor, where are you going?
Oh, hey, buddy.
Hey.
You know you're my favorite, but hey, for the sake of the video, I think we're gonna go out and explore and find a new place today, okay?
Okay.
Thanks for being so understanding. I'll see you soon. Have a good day. Can I please do an iced Americano?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And do you want a delicious chicken empanada with that, or pastry?
Okay, thank you though.
Could I get a name for this?
Taylor.
Awesome, this will be right out for you.
Thank you so much.
Whenever you're ready.
Perfect. Genius marketing. Practical? Not really, but gets people taking pictures, gets people talking, sharing. Genius. It's also really good. So that's 787 Coffee. It's this chain of Puerto Rican coffee shops that I absolutely love. There's quite a few around the city, also some, of course, in Puerto Rico. I have brought you to what I think is one of the absolute most beautiful corners in all of New York City, and the most beautiful corner in East Village, I think. This is the corner of Stuyvesant and East 10th Street, and it is one of the oldest streets in all of Manhattan, New York City. It was first laid down in 1787. And to you non-Americans watching, that might not sound that old, but that's what, 11 years after we officially became a country, so it's old for us. And my favorite fun fact about this corner is that, you know how New York City is very famously laid out as like a grid system? Well, believe it or not, the grid, all of those straight lines, are actually 30 degrees askew from due north. And that's so it could fit the shape of Manhattan rather than being like diagonal, you know what I mean? It's also that 30-degree askew angle that gives us the sunset phenomenon known as Manhattan Henge. Manhattan Henge. Like Stonehenge, so yeah, Manhattan Henge. Twice a year. Pretty cool. But guess what the only street in Manhattan is that actually runs a true east-west? It'd be crazy if it wasn't that one. It is that one. If, by the way, you're feeling FOMO for not living in a beautiful ivy-covered townhouse in New York, I also read that ivy apparently attracts a lot of bugs. So, pros and cons. Anyways, now let's go to our next location, which is pretty iconic. All right, just moments ago, I wrote this bag off as a pretty impractical design, but a smart marketing tactic. I gotta say, kind of convenient to just hold it like that. Maybe it's practical too. So interesting, they have a muse here. I mean, I've walked up and down this, but I didn't know what a muse was until I went to London and my friend educated me. It's basically those little back alleyways behind the main quarters where they kept the horses in the stables, and I think it was like the servants' quarters too. Now they're like obviously repurposed into really, really beautiful little townhomes as well, at least in London, and it looks like that's university for NYU property, but pretty cool. You might have noticed we haven't eaten yet today, and I'm getting hungry. So, as always, I'm taking you to a New York spot. All right, we are here. Just kidding. New Yorkers will get that one. This is like the most famous restaurant in the whole entire city, and I've never been. But where we are going is right next to it. They closed an hour ago. Awesome. Oh, glowy. Okay. Can I please do the kale Caesar salad with chicken? Thank you so much. All right, this is a spot I've been to a couple times. It's actually just a great like layover spot to come and do some work because you can take your laptop out. Also pretty good food. Took this as a very welcome break to cool off. Responded to some emails as it was a work day after all. Did some budgeting and then wrote down a few video ideas that came to mind during the day, which actually included the way that I wanted to finish this exact video. And I think it's pretty cool, so stay tuned to the end. And met a really cool subscriber. I'm filming now if you want to say hi in the video. Yeah. Hello. I'm glad you said hi. Oh, that was really cute. The guy sitting next to me has watched my videos and stopped in there to say hi. Had a nice little conversation. So I'm glad we ended up there instead of pop-up bagels. Anyways, to our next location. It's a fun one.
King of the road, trailer for sailoring.
All right, y'all, here we are in Soho, which means south of Houston. Houston is literally right there, and we're south of it. I find this style of architecture in New York to be particularly beautiful. The crown molding, the high ceilings. I can only imagine how much natural light comes in those puppies. And it is usually flooded with tourists. There's a lot of, it's like the biggest shopping area in Manhattan. But there are some side streets that are a little lesser known. Either way, there's a lot of people like me either out here videoing or taking a lot of pictures. A little bit of history though. These spaces attracted a ton of artists in the 1960s and 70s because of the high ceilings, the natural light that came in, and at the time, cheap rent because they were actually abandoned manufacturing plants. So pretty cool. This was like the space for artists. If you guys are into, if you're into film at all, no, but I recently watched one of Scorsese's old movies called After Hours. If you guys have seen that, it's like New York porn and it takes place in Soho, like around that time. So anyway, would highly recommend that movie. Some really, really cool shots in it and just like New York nostalgia. Anyways, let me show you more of Soho. Also, you guys probably can't tell because it looks like just a nice, regular, mild day, doesn't it? Here's my hand going down my back. Ew, sorry. Not sorry, I'm gonna leave that in. I bet you'd never guess what I'm trying on right now. I don't need another white t-shirt. So iconic. All right, didn't buy anything, but I tried on some stuff. Proud of myself. Now we're going to one of my favorite places of all time in the city.
Thinking about
Clear the closed doors, please.
where could be a lonely place. Baby, I'm so glad that I found you. Now I got someone to embrace.
You know, fairly often do I have moments in New York where I realize that I'm currently living in a memorable moment. Do you ever get that? Like where a moment is so special or unique in some way, even if it's the mundane, that can be special all the same, but to the point where you realize it while it's happening. Anyway, I have those here a lot, and I think that that speaks volumes to how special this place is. It is not for everyone. It's really not, but it is for me. And when I stop to think about it, you know, I've lived here for only 3 years, tack on another 6 months if you want to count the internships during college. It's called 3.5 years. That's nothing. Like, not really, you know? That's less time than I was in college. Yet I feel like I have lived 3 lifetimes since I moved here. The person I was when I first moved here is just so different than who I am today. And, you know, it's a good thing. I think we should always be changing and growing and all those good things. But I just think it's so true that New York forces you to pack so much life into a short amount of time. Sometimes to an overwhelming point, honestly, where the default is that so much around you is happening and you have to make an effort to carve out your own free time, otherwise you will not get it. And the opposite of that is true for many, many other places. So anyways, I was listening to a podcast, Diary of CEO, which is my favorite podcast. It's hosted by Stephen Bartlett, who is an angel investor and entrepreneur based out of the UK. He had on Scott Galloway. I watched their episode together, and Scott Galloway made a point that I thought was amazing, that, you know, one day he was skiing in Aspen, I think it was, and he's like, damn, I'm a good skier. And then he realized, no, the snow and the powder is just incredible. Of course I feel like a good skier. And when you play tennis against someone who's better than you, it like elevates your game. And so he suggests, if you can, to move to the Aspens of the world. Not actually Aspen, but you know, the places where you are forced to elevate your game or where it gives you the opportunity to do so. And he says a place like New York is where you're playing against Serena Williams all the time. Very metaphorical here, but the point is we are surrounded all day by people who are taking risks or working hard or who are smart. That just rubs off on you whether you realize it or not. And yeah, I just don't think that there is a substitute for the connections and the opportunities and the energy that you get from living here in your 20s. And of course, I think you can thrive here at any age. You know, it feels kind of ageist to say in your 20s all the time, but at the same time, it is probably in your 20s before you have a family that you're down to live in a 400 square foot apartment. And you know, things get expensive when you start feeding a couple more mouths. So that's why I say 20s. Anyways, I will get off my soapbox. I feel like I deliver some grand soliloquy professing my love for New York in every single video, but it's how I feel.
Got a dopamine rush, got a major league crush when you're next to me. Got my heart upon my sleeve, can I hide the way I feel when you're next to me, girl?
That was a proper main character moment. That's where we gotta end. Like and subscribe for $0, and until next time, turtle out. Da, 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 da. Sounds about right. Love you, New York.
Something special about you.
Cheers.